Call this meeting of the New Gloucester City Council to order. Welcome the administration, the audience, and the rest of council. With that,
All right, Mayor Cook,
yes.
Councilwoman Grove. Present. Councilman Bond.
Here.
Councilman Shammy.
Here.
Councilwoman Wright.
Here.
Councilman Lindsay.
Here.
And Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Here.
Present.
That will have the invocation of the Chief Trustee.
Father, Lord, we thank you for the day and all thy many blessings and the beautiful weather. We pray that you would please be in this meeting. Let thy perfect will be done. Bless our first responder, our troops, and their families. And Lord, we ask a special blessing on our mayor right now. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion for the action on the minutes of 6:16, please.
Councilwoman Wright.
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Yes.
Mayor Cook.
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove.
Yes.
Councilman Bond.
Yes.
And Councilman Shammy.
Yes.
All right, and the minutes of the special meeting on 6/23, please.
So moved?
Councilwoman Wright.
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Yes.
Mayor Cook.
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove.
Yes.
Councilman Bond.
Yes.
And Councilman Shammy.
And I understand we have no communications. I will lead on to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, members of the public. So it is a fairly light meeting tonight, with most of our department reports being due in 2 weeks at the next council meeting. With that, we have some upcoming legislation that we've been discussing over the last couple council meetings and the working session, and it is the amendment to the police contract requesting the sergeant in lieu of the deputy. I spoke with Chief Lane mid last week. He has a proposal of the contract ready to send us. I'm anticipating it any day, to be honest. I hope to have it within the next 2 weeks. I'll reach out to him by the end of the week. My hope is that we can get the contract, and then we'll include it as an attachment to the next council meeting. So then we can discuss it, see if you all would like to make any changes or additions or subtractions. And then I'll push that back to the sheriff's department, see if they'll concede to those changes. And then if so, then the hope is we would reintroduce it and at the first meeting in August as legislation for introduction. So the hope is, according to our conversation, he's hoping September would be the time frame, if everything goes as planned, that we would have a sergeant in charge, essentially, of the city. Do you all have any questions about that, in that process?
That sergeant in charge of the city will be a sergeant in the city at the substation or working the streets, correct?
Yes, sir. Special assignment dedicated to the city of New Carlisle.
Okay. That was for the people on YouTube land and our audience, because I already knew the answer, just so you know.
Absolutely.
Anyone else have a comment?
Okay, our next one, I felt that we had a very successful working session a couple weeks ago talking about our social services dilemmas within the city. Very much appreciated so many people coming out to at least participate and attend. We did open up for applications following that meeting, and we have received around 11, I would imagine more at this point. I haven't checked in about a week. But one of the things, after you guys diligently worked on this boards and commission handbook, one of the things that I discovered on page 1 is we have to have an ordinance or a resolution to create a commission. So it's kind of hard to appoint someone for a commission that doesn't exist yet. So I will eat my crow now and say that we need to introduce some legislation. I spoke with Mr. Jeffries earlier today about this. He's already crafted up the introduction. So kind of the series of events of how this will work with this commission is on the 21st, we'll introduce the legislation for the Social Services Commission. On the 4th of August is what I'll extend the applications to. And also, it'll be up for action into legislation. So you guys at that point will create the commission. Immediately following that, on the 11th of August, I'll need a motion for this. Or maybe we hold until the 21st to make sure you guys are okay with the legislation as presented. But we'll do a working session for the interviews. So then we can appoint on the 18th of August, and now you have a commission. So kind of going through the root and stem approach to creating a commission. I do think that this is good for us. It was great to honestly have the handbook to go off of. But I think this is a great concept for a lot of reasons, but also given us the opportunity to actually create a committee or a commission that's not mentioned in the charter. So if any other crises pop up within the community or special interest items, that we kind of know, okay, this is how the sausage is made. This is how we need to create a committee or a commission.
Go ahead, Bill.
Do you want that motion now, sir?
It may be best, do you think if we wait to introduce the legislation, just make sure everybody's okay, or do you think?
I'm sorry, sir, the motion for the August 11th meeting. To schedule that meeting.
Matters, we could do it now, or I don't expect to
Okay,
have any issues with the legislation.
copy that. Because I know we did a quasi consensus following the end of the working session that everyone felt that it was a good idea to create this commission. So yes, the 11th of August would be a working session at 6 PM, if that works for everyone, to conduct the interviews. Now, I'll say that we may end up with 20, 25 applicants. So it'd be up to your discretion. You don't have to interview every single one. But I would recommend, now that we know that we have 11 at least, it probably would be a good idea to shoot for 5 commission members. So then you have, a good swath of people all invested in this, and to make it easier for them to have quorum to have meetings, rather than just the 3. So it's up to you if you want. We can send on the 4th of August when the applications will be extended to. I'll send all those applications to you, and then Mr. Mayor, if you would like to communicate with me on how many you would desire to interview. If you guys want to interview 8 or 10 or all of them, it's totally up to you. It just could be a long time if you're trying to interview 25 people for a commission.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
if you have applications now that people have submitted, I would suggest or request those are sent to council so we can be reviewing them instead of having 25 to review all at once.
Okay.
That way we can counsel, once we get everybody, we can start from the application, sorting through and who we'd like to review and who we wouldn't.
Okay.
If council agrees with that. It seems like that's the consensus. If you'd like that in the form of a motion, sir, I'll do it. But I would, myself and apparently council as a whole would like to have those sooner than later.
Sure.
Okay.
And if you would like, I could just, as they come in, I'll
That
just
would be
instruct the
awesome.
staff to ensure you forward this, all to council.
That would probably be fantastic, I think.
Absolutely. I can
That
do
way
that.
we can start working on it before we have a stack of them to go through.
Copy that. I'm just going to make a note.
Thank you.
Let me ask a dumb question here. If we've got that many applications, I know we have other boards and committees that need members. Perhaps some of those that we drop off may be able to fill those other positions. And I know that, the Parks and Rec Board, I think needs a couple more on it, doesn't it?
I don't even, do we have a park and rec board now? I thought
I-
we disbanded and reinstated it, but nobody's on it, so we
Nobody's
need.
on it, that's why I'm saying
Yeah,
maybe
so-
we could,
Absolutely. I spoke with Councilwoman Wright about the Parks and Rec Board. I mean, especially boards that are actually mentioned in the charter, we absolutely need to try to fill those vacancies. And Parks and Rec, with all the developments and different things that are going on. And I believe it's, something our people really care about is our parks. So my hope is, yes, we can kind of springboard off of this commission, Now, my hope was to have the commission established by the end of August. We're getting pretty close to meeting that deadline, but I think we can. But ideally, I think it would be probably advantageous the sooner rather than later. I was going to wait for that commission to get formed, but I do think it would be good to have that Parks and Rec Board established before we go into budget talks. Because give the Parks and Rec Board an opportunity to meet, at least get their head wrapped around things. Because my hope is anticipating, future budget discussions with you all, that Parks and Rec, when we come up to that area of the budget, would be able to participate and advocate, and advise you all on, some of the needs that they see for the Parks Department.
Go ahead, Bill.
Would you like a motion to go
Open
ahead and
application?
create the commissions? Or do you want to wait till the next meeting?
I think we should just get it done.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't think I need.
If it isn't going to create a problem with you or the law director.
The Parks Commission's already created.
I know the park commission is, but the other commissions that he just said it in the handbook that we needed to do a resolution or a motion to create them.
For a new board
For
or
the new-
commission
the
that's
commission.
not in the charter.
Right, right.
So Parks and Rec is in the charter.
Parks and Recs is in the charter.
So
I'm
we
talking
just
about
need-
the new ones that you want to create. Do you need a motion now or later to do that?
It's an ordinance or resolution, so it has to be legislation.
Okay. Will that be at the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Do you matter which one? A resolution would probably be easier. Takes effect immediately, and we don't have to have two readings on it.
I'd have to look at the charter. I think to do, the way it was done, we would have to amend like section 220, I think, and the only way you can amend is through an ordinance.
Okay, all right. All right, that'll be fine. And you want it done by the end of August, so more than likely have to be an emergency ordinance at the next meeting.
I think I can get it done if I introduce it on the 21st, and then it would come into action on the 4th of August. You all would do your interviews on the 11th of August and your appointments on the 18th of August. So therefore, we have a commission
Okay,
on the 18th of August.
Before the end of August.
Now, the first meeting may not be till the 1st of September, but the commission is up and running.
okay.
Now, my hope is with this as well, is that I plan on attending those meetings. And I would also, recommend, for any of you who'd be interested, now you wouldn't be, a commission member, but you'd be a participant, to help drive the discussion and things of that nature. I'm happy to be that facilitator, like we do with BZA and things of that nature. But if any of you, would like to be involved in that, to liaison for council, I think it feeds into helping the communication and making sure that everyone is understanding of all the different, pieces to the machine that are working right now.
Go ahead. Bill.
I'd like to recommend Carrie Ann as being the head of that, the liaison person for our council members.
For all the commissions?
No, just for that one, the social services one, if she'd like. I don't know if she'd like, but I think it's right up her alley.
Awesome, yes.
I think, speaking to some of the people that were interested to apply for this, I don't know if they would be interested in the Parks and Rec Commission.
Yeah.
Because they were more excited about
Yeah.
this than Parks and Rec.
Well, would you think that during the interviews, we could ask?
Possibly.
Yeah.
That's just the feeling I got from it, so.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'll be honest. I was looking, 5 years ago, whatever boards or commissions were out there. I just wanted to just finished up my graduate degree and wanted to get involved. And when I called up to the city, it was recommended, actually looking at your credentials and your criteria, the charter commission it's something that needs done. Would you like? And, I went through the formal, some of you interviewed me to appoint me, to that commission. And I think there's those people out there who just genuinely, and maybe the social services is the thing, that's what we're talking about. But, from talking with around around town with folks, a lot of folks, I mean, I do think that there's people out there that just want to be plugged in. And even if you're doing Parks and Rec, you know, it's a way to get towed into the city and have a better, you know, to have a little bit of, you know, some influence as well of what your community is doing and the decisions that we're making.
Anything further? We don't.
Okay, so I want to give a lot of credit to council and my entire staff for what I believe is probably one of the most successful firework displays that the Miami Valley had a couple weekends ago. It was absolutely incredible to be behind the scenes this year, seeing all the different moving pieces that go into making something like that happen. It's quite honestly unbelievable. And it wasn't just a 20-minute, 30-minute fireworks display. I mean, it led up a week long of events, from movie night in the park to foam frenzy in the park with the fire division. We had over 100 kids, I believe, participate in that. It was absolutely incredible to watch these firefighters engage with these young kids and sprinkle them with water and foam, and just seeing so much happiness in New Carlisle. I mean, it was a little bit overwhelming as your manager, because it was just, I mean, the outpouring from even the pool. We had, a really good day on that Friday, the 27th. And then I was invited to be a representative of the city at Evans Cattle event. And while I understand it's outside of the city, many of our constituents were there. Had over 4,000 cars at Evans Cattle. And I had a little space with my name on it that said I was the city manager, and had multiple people come up and just, honestly, it wasn't just a bunch of grievances. It was a bunch of very nice, hopeful things that constituents were saying about our community. And then leading that into our event on, the 28th, I believe in talking with our deputies, that we had equal to, if not more, cars that came into New Carlisle to partake into our fireworks display. So between Safe and Sound, Aero Queen, the ball fields, the pool, it was absolutely incredible. And not a single incident happened.
Yay.
Nothing. I mean, we had one minor health situation that happened that our medics responded to, and were able to triage very quickly. But outside of that, with thousands and thousands of people, I thought that was pretty incredible. And it all goes to these folks who know the inner workings of our city, know where our threats and our liabilities are, for ensuring that it was such a pleasant night for everybody in our town.
Good, Bill.
You made a comment about the fire department and foam frenzy and watching the firefighters interact with the kids. Speaking as a retired firefighter, we're all a bunch of kids and we're playing with foam. And we're not on a house fire. They know when it's time to be serious and when it's time to have a ball. And kids and firefighters are almost like ice and water. They go together great. And I've never met a firefighter that didn't like to have a little kid to play with in foam or anything else, actually. Am I correct, Chief?
Sure.
So I've been to the foam frenzies before. Hopefully it ain't the foam that I used to play in.
No.
So, and the foam I used to play in, I'm surprised I'm still alive from what I'm hearing. But anyways, hopefully it's a lot safer foam that we have nowadays than we had 40 years ago.
I think it's just Dawn dish soap, but
Yeah, no,
it did a good job. And
I don't believe it's Dawn dish soap.
No,
But
yeah,
it wasn't Dawn. Okay.
We don't actually do the foam. The foam is done by the county parks
Okay.
people.
Okay.
And basically, that's what it is, Dawn dish liquid.
Okay, so it's not actually firefighting
No.
that compress it from, okay, we used to use that
No,
back in the day.
no.
But you guys, the fire department that we have and our police officers, they do an awesome job 24/7 for this community. And whenever the departments, both of them, even the deputies, when we was having the National Nights Out, man, the deputies are like little kids playing with these little kids. You know, we go, oh, so we got children watching our city. But they have a lot of fun, but they know when business, they take care of business when it happens. And congrats to both departments.
But yeah, it was, they also did, so they had Foam Frenzy on Friday. And then they did a hot dog social on Saturday, inspected the fireworks, helped triage, barricading streets, had the fire display, had a medic call in the middle of it, then helped us manage traffic. We had a pretty serious situation that happened from a law enforcement perspective that happened Saturday night. So one of our deputies had to leave because they were a member of SWAT to go help with that situation. So the fire department, again, stepped up, helped work the traffic situation and everything else. But I got to give credit to our deputies because on Friday nights, one of our deputies was out on working overtime dealing with traffic coming out of Evans. He got 4,000 cars coming out of there. Pretty incredible. Again, no incidents the entire night. I was standing there just observing because I wanted to gain information of how traffic was managed so then I could take that to our event. And while I was standing there, 3 young kids on bicycles came up while you have thousands of cars trying to get out. And I asked, where do you guys live? And of course, they live out and around Smith Park. And I'm like, okay, so you guys, your plan is to ride 571 right now on your bicycle in pitch black darkness all the way back to town. So the deputy, when I had a little break in traffic, told him what was going on. He said, once I clear these cars out, we have Jefferson barricaded for eastbound traffic. I'm going to follow them in my cruiser to make sure they get all the way home. So it's, again, there's these little details that happen in our town all the time. And I just want to do my best to try to make that public and advocate on behalf of them, because I think it's pretty special that, we have, firefighters and deputies especially that step up in those situations, even when they don't have to. So, and that is the city manager's report, sir.
Okay.
Glad he's done talking.
All right, committee reports, I guess we've got none. All right, we'll open it up for comments from members of the public. If you will, come up to the podium if you've got something to say. Give us a name and an address and speak your mind.
I know these 2 ladies got something they want to say. They keep looking at each other like, you go, no, you go.
Janelle left us unsupervised.
Getting crazy.
I wonder where she was at.
If nobody has anything to say, I guess we'll go to the resolution, none, the ordinance section.
Okay, so ordinances, there's 2 introductions and 3 actions tonight. Ordinance 2025-25, introduced on 6/16/25, public hearing and action tonight. An ordinance adopting the tax budget for the city of New Carlisle, Ohio for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2026, and submitting the same to the auditor of Clark County, Ohio.
So moved.
So,
Ms. Harris, would you like to give a summary of this ordinance, please?
So the tax budget is an annual requirement that we provide our estimated resources, our revenues and expenditures to the county. The county commissioners then, on their end, take all the information and they use it to set the property taxes. They will come back to us with a certificate of estimated resources, and that builds into our appropriation budget. So this, on our end, is kind of our first start of our annual appropriation, because these numbers are very close to what we're estimating the needs for our expenditures for next year, with the revenue that we anticipate coming in.
Any questions from council?
Okay. Councilwoman Wright?
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston?
Yes.
Mayor Cook?
Yes.
Councilwoman Grow?
Yes.
Councilman Bond?
Yes.
Councilman Shammy?
yes.
Okay, accepted 7-0.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2025-26, introduced on 6/16/25, public hearing and action tonight. An ordinance amending section 220.01 of the codified ordinances of the city of New Carlisle to increase the city manager's dollar amount threshold for entering into contracts.
So moved.
So,
And the summary of this ordinance is to cap my spending at $50,000.
Any questions?
Comment?
Go ahead.
The, just for the people in the audience and the people at YouTube land, his spending limit was at $35,000. That sounds like a lot of money. We raised it. In fact, I think I made the motion a couple of weeks ago to raise it to 50,000. Because when you're operating a city, if we have I'm just gonna say a water pump from the wells go out, or we have something over at the sewer plant go out, we can go through 50 grand pretty quick if we have to buy a motor or a pump and get it here yesterday. It costs more to do that. So we felt, council felt that it was prudent to raise his spending limit from $35,000 to $50,000. And quite honestly, there's cities, Dayton just raised theirs to 50,000, which I find that hard to believe. I thought it was a lot more. But we have faith in this manager to do what he needs to do and to be very diligent with our tax dollars, because he has 7 people watching him constantly, and he's very aware of it. So that's all I had to say. Only a comment I wanted to make.
Any other comments?
Okay. Councilwoman Wright?
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston?
Yes.
Mayor Cook?
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove?
Yes.
Councilman Bond?
Yes.
And Councilman Shammy?
Yes.
7-0. Ordinance 2025-27, introduced on 6/16/25, public hearing and action tonight. An ordinance amending ordinance 2022-49 for the purpose of increasing the dollar amount threshold of the Director of Public Service or Assistant City Manager for entering into contracts.
So moved.
Second.
And the summary of this ordinance is more of the same. This would extend the spending limit for the Assistant City Manager, Mr. Kitco, from $35,000 to $50,000 to be able to make purchases in my absence primarily.
I do have one question. It's just to clarify. So if we needed 75, could you and him both go together and
No.
still not come to us? Well, it was just a question, that's all. I was just wondering.
Yes, ma'am. And I hope that if these situations ever came up, my first contact would be to the mayor to coordinate and communicate with all of you that a significant situation has came up.
Right.
And I'm gonna have to do this. Because
Yeah, but it
you
takes a
all
long
have,
time to go the right way. I mean, well, not the right way, but the normal way. Takes a week to get it in writing and then to us and then back and figure out, well, yeah, so it's fine, it's fine.
yes, ma'am.
I think if it came to a situation that it's over their spending limit, we would be calling a special meeting,
Okay,
with 24
that's good,
hours
yeah, we
notice.
haven't done that yet, so I haven't done that yet.
And probably do it as an emergency to
That's
get it done.
fine, sure, great. That's good to know.
I don't,
Anything further?
I don't think we've ever done that though. but-
No, not that I'm
Yeah,
aware of.
not that I'm aware of.
Okay, Councilwoman Wright?
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston?
Yes.
Mayor Cook?
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove? Yes. Councilman Bond?
Yes.
And Councilman Shammy?
Yes.
Accepted 7-0. Ordinance 2025-28, introduction tonight, public hearing and action on 7/21/25. An ordinance authorizing an agreement for the city's old high-service pump building equipment upgrades project. Ordinance 2025-29, introduction tonight, public hearing and action on 7/21/25. An ordinance providing for the submission to the electors of the city of New Carlisle, proposed amendments to Article 5 of the city charter. In other business, additional city business, movie night will be at Smith Park. We'll be showing Minecraft on July 19th, 2025 at dusk. And now it's open for any other city-related discussion.
We have an executive session on the agenda, however, we have some additional information that necessitates it to be postponed. Other than that, anything else? Go ahead.
Motion to add this August 11th meeting.
I know we're doing an audit on the codes, and
Do one and then
it had been suggested to hold off on things until we got those done, but loose chickens in town are becoming about as big as loose dogs in town. And right now, chickens are considered livestock. So if a dog were loose around the chickens that get out and kills a chicken, the dog gets shot. There's no way that we can track whose chickens they are. Dogs have tags, they have license. And I think that we need to set something up to where if you're gonna have chickens, you need to register them so that we know. Because evidently there was more chickens out this morning, and from what I understand, they get out all the time. And we need to do something. Because
Where?
Where are the chickens, do you know where the chickens are located now?
this morning, it was at the corner of Leatherwood and Applewood.
Do you know who they belong to? By any
No.
chance?
Chicken cross.
Or anybody over in that area?
No.
I think that's where the second one was also, right? Applewood.
That's where the
I think it
complaints have
was.
been coming
Applewood
from. They've been
was
coming
the
from
other
Yes,
day.
it's probably the
Applewood and
same home,
Probably the same chicken.
and possibly they don't understand their chickens aren't allowed to run out. I mean, we do have an ordinance saying that they're not to run free. You know, I don't want to register chickens because it seems kind of silly to me, because chickens don't run like dogs do, and they're not a danger like dogs are. And the citizens said they wanted chickens. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I think if we direct our deputies not to shoot dogs that are eating chickens, that would be okay with me. I mean, I don't think they've done that anyway,
No, but
so,
it's violating state law.
yeah.
So you're gonna ask our deputies to violate
No,
state
we're
law?
not.
No, of course not,
It isn't gonna
because
happen.
the dog will kill the chicken long before the deputy gets there, and that's the way dogs and chickens are. So, as a chicken owner myself, if my chicken gets out, that's on me. If my chicken dies, that's too bad. It's, you know, I'm sad, but that's too bad. And that's just the way most chicken owners are. They understand that's life. Everything eats chickens. Everything eats chickens. And then they also die on their own of no apparent reason, yeah. So I don't think it's a bigger concern as you think. I think somebody doesn't understand the rule.
Go ahead, Mr. Bond.
Well, on this, I agree with Mrs. Wright. I think as a chicken owner, just understand it's our responsibility to keep our chickens in, and if they get out, if something happens to them, it's our fault for them getting out. So, and I read the Ohio Revised Code, I think, Peggy, that you sent, I don't know, a month ago or whenever it was. And I don't think it says the dog will be shot. It said it could be shot.
Right.
Or put, so it doesn't mean it will be in every instance. I think the spirit of that law was more of a dog getting into livestock and killing livestock, not livestock running loose and a dog coming across one. I think, I might be wrong on that, I'm not a lawyer, but when I read it, I kind of felt like that was more the spirit of what was put into that state legislation. But, so if we need to, I'd be willing to go talk to whoever it is over on Applewood. If Mrs. Wright, if you want to go with me, I don't mind going knocking on the
That would
door and
be
saying,
fine
hey,
with that.
we're having complaints. I don't want to ruin this for everybody else in the city.
Right.
And we do, like Mrs. Wright said, in that ordinance, it says you're supposed to have your chickens confined, so.
Or they'll be on our dinner table.
I wonder if they
Yeah,
don't speak.
they'll be on somebody's dinner table, so yeah.
I wonder if they don't speak English.
Fresh
I'm gonna guess they probably
Since, do you know that ordinance number by any chance, ma'am?
Applewood and Leatherwood.
But since we're talking about state laws and ordinances, I want to hear from our law director on his interpretation of that ORC.
Do you have the section number? I didn't have this on my bingo card for this meeting.
She's looking it up.
955.
Come on.
I mean, I know we spent a lot of time talking about chickens, but I would much rather they keep them confined, and I would really hate for a dog to get put down because he ate a chicken that was running down the street.
955.28.
Are there leash laws in New Carlisle? Are dogs?
Yes, there
Yeah,
are.
but they don't follow them either,
But
so.
yeah, that doesn't happen either, so.
If the chickens are loose and the dogs are loose, it seems like
It's yeah, that's the way I.
You know, the hawk flying over the head, you're gonna see that chicken, it's having chicken dinner, you know?
State law to have your dog on a leash.
then they're both breaking it up.
Right.
No, I will say, well, once Councilwoman Eggleston did reach out to us about the loose chickens this morning. I immediately dispatched our code enforcer to go investigate, and they were penned up. We couldn't find them. And we couldn't isolate down to what specific house must have owned these loose chickens. So I know it's not a complete remedy to this, but we do have code enforcers. I am also available that if these situations, come up, we'll dispatch the right people to go do what we can to contain the chickens or the loose dog or loose whatever that your pet is. But yes, I understand. And the only other thing while Mr. Jeffries is looking into this is we do have some proposals for the code rewrite. We're still waiting on those bids to come back with the outside consultants. But we probably do need to beefing up some of our ordinances when it comes to managing these chickens, along with dogs and everything else, within the ordinances so.
I mean, personally, I'd be more afraid of certain dogs running loose than I would be a chicken.
Yep.
But, in town here, I've been accosted by more than one animal, and because the owner came and got him pretty quick, the dog didn't get shot. But because I'm not gonna get chewed up by no dog, unless it's a Chihuahua, and they're the mean little,
They're mean.
They are mean. My mom had them. They are mean. But yeah, I don't think, and I would hope our deputies would not shoot a dog because they ate a chicken running down the road or running loose. I don't know. I'm sure they have discretion in that.
So the way that I read it, it says that a dog may be put down,
Right.
which we're not going to do it unless it's in imminent danger of harming someone else.
A person,
Yes.
more than likely, yes.
Yeah, the statute just authorizes that the person can kill a dog. It doesn't say they're required to.
Okay.
Do you think the intent is?
Any other comment?
Comes into your property?
Go ahead, Mr. Bond.
This is on a different subject.
Out on the street.
This is on a different subject.
Go ahead, well, I guess we're done with that.
Unless anybody has
subject, am I
anything else on
correct?
that
Okay,
subject.
go ahead.
Spicing it up a little bit.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring up again to council, I kind of think we need to schedule an executive session to talk about goals and expectations for our new city manager, just to keep that on the forefront. As time moves on here, and his plate gets very full with things, to know what needs to be on the plate and what doesn't need to be on the plate. I think, to be fair to him, to know what council expects is kind of, would be the most fair thing to put that stuff out there for him to help them, so.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Bill.
We're having a work session on the 11th. Can we do a executive session at that time?
I think we need a motion for the working session, if that's what you guys want to do.
Okay.
Yes.
First time.
Can we do the executive session at the same time?
Following the working session?
You could. You may
Okay.
have a lot of interviews that day, though.
That's the thing that I'm.
That we're doing the interviews.
Yeah, that would probably be a lot.
Could do it on the 21st, following the council meeting.
Okay, 21st would work to do an executive session there. Do you need a motion for that? Or you just want to put it on your agenda and put it on our agenda?
Yes, so this would be an executive session with just council for you guys to
Right.
decide what the goals are, and then we do a separate executive session to talk about those with me. Is that how
That
you
would
guys
be
look
the
at it?
proper way of doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Is that what you're
because
thinking?
we have the 21st that you guys could do it, and then we also have the 4th of August. So if
Okay,
you guys want to hash out the goals on the 21st, we could do another executive session on the 4th.
yeah.
Because then on the 11th, you have your working session for your social services committee.
So I think that would work if we can get those two scheduled.
Okay, so executive session on the 21st
And the 4th.
And the 4th.
And, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to have the work session on August 11th at 6 PM.
Second.
Okay, so motion to hold a work session on August 11th at 6 PM.
Any further comment?
Okay, Councilwoman Wright,
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston,
Yes.
Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove,
Yes.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
Councilman Shammy.
Yes.
All right, is there anything else anybody else wants to bring up?
Just really quickly, Mr. Mayor, if I could.
Go ahead.
The one thing thinking about with these goals is something that I am eager to discuss with you is these goals, but also the comprehensive plan for the city. So if we can keep that in mind, since I won't be a part of the goal-setting conversation, our comprehensive plan is dated from 2012, so we're a little bit overdue for renewal. I have spent some time reviewing the latest comprehensive plan, and, I mean, it's very vanilla, it's very fluid and flexible, so I don't think it would take much to just kind of,
Tweak it.
yeah, just find your trajectory on the different sections. I don't think a lot of changes need to be made. But thinking about more housing, industry, things of that nature. So if you could just kind of keep that in mind as you're setting those goals and objectives for me, that we'll probably, hopefully very soon, be starting to talk about the comprehensive plan in working sessions.
Okay.
Anything further?
Miss-
Go ahead.
I just wanted to bring up that Heritage of Flight is coming up swiftly, probably swifter than we think, and we still need to figure out a Junior Citizen of the Year and stuff, because we had decided that they were going to do the award at Heritage of Flight, right, didn't we? And I feel like.
Yeah, they was doing it, was we doing the junior, or? I thought we only did one.
We're doing junior and employee,
Who?
right? Junior and employee,
Junior and employee?
I thought so.
Employee and firefighter of the year.
Is that the two he's doing?
And junior citizen.
I don't think we
Nobody,
wasn't doing a junior citizen.
yeah,
He's doing
nobody offered.
Employee and
junior.
firefighter of the year for this first time out, because we got no applications for junior. Yes, because that has to come from the citizens, the applications for those, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
So I think all we was
we can
doing,
solicit, I mean, we got some time. If you want to do a Junior Citizen of the Year, I can see if we can open that up for,
Can you try one more time?
I think we definitely need to do a Citizen of the Year.
she's wanting to do, excuse me, sir, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
She's wanting to do a junior citizen of the year.
That's what
and-
we had already voted on. I was going by
Yeah.
what we had already voted on.
I believe that we did have a Junior Citizen award in there along with the
Yeah,
fire
okay.
department and an employee.
I don't
Okay,
think.
so we'll have them
And-
three of
but I would-
three of
Didn't
them,
receive any
I personally would just
applications
as soon
for
move that junior up to
Citizen of the
a
Year.
citizen.
citizen.
And that way you're gonna be able to cover both.
we'll need to open it up for applications because I don't believe we've received any petitions for Junior
Right.
Citizen of the Year. So I'm going to need to do a Facebook post and get it out to the public to make nominations. And
Based-
then get those to you.
Based off of the mayor's comment, would council be willing to forego the junior and just make it citizen of the year? That would encompass both?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Could we just add to it and just try to do Junior Citizen of the Year one more time? And then if we don't get any applications, nix it? And add Citizen of the Year?
You could still be a junior, though.
He could still be, he or she could still be a junior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would encompass, if you lived in the city, you'd be,
Right.
and
Anybody that would-
assuming school age, would be able to nominate, whether it be somebody in school or somebody someplace else in the nursing home. You know,
I remember we discussed this.
We did.
And
Yeah.
I remember we discussed it, it seemed like at length, and we
It was
decided
lengthy.
not to go with a Citizen of the Year, and I
Yeah.
can't remember.
That's true.
I don't remember why.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I can't remember
and we were just gonna
why.
do the junior then?
Yeah,
Okay, well, then,
I can't remember what
let,
the discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I suggest to you and council, we just do the junior, see if we can get any apps for it, and if not, then we'll fix it. It'll just go away.
We can add Citizen of the Year if you want, but we'd have to make another motion for it.
Yeah, we'll look at it next year. Let's just do the junior, the firefighter, the fire department, and the
Employees.
city employees, and do those three. And if we don't get any apps for, whatever we don't get apps for, we get rid of. There's no interest, there's no sense in council wasting time and talking about it if there's no interest from the citizens. And I think everything that this council does is for the citizens, you know, for the public. I mean, that's my intentions, is to make things better for the citizens, or cheaper for the citizens, or activities for the citizens. So, you know, they have to participate along with us. We can't do it all.
Kathy, you got something else?
I'm afraid that we didn't do a very good job of offering it up to the citizens. I'm not sure everybody knew of it. You know, I don't think the schools were in on it, you know, vote for whatever. You know, I don't think the parents knew. I just really don't think very many people even knew about it. I mean, I know our city employees did, because man, we were bingo, we got them. Fire department, he shared that, you know, but I think for the junior, I don't think that got shared through the channels that possibly it should have went through. So it might not be our citizens not reacting, our citizens probably didn't know, would be my guess, yeah.
That's a possibility too.
Anything else? Go ahead.
Is it something that we could just include that form with the next water bill or something? So
I'm
that
sure we
they
can.
had the form.
I'll talk it
when they got
over.
their water bill mailed to them, and that way it's there. And if
That'd be
they
nice,
Think of
yeah.
somebody, they can submit it, and if not, so.
And that way we know they know,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be great.
And possibly on the city webpage.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many people go there, but,
I don't know.
or if we have a city Facebook page, maybe put it there too.
I'm on it.
That way the word gets out.
Yeah, we're gonna need to send it out relatively soon. It'll have to be,
Exactly.
I mean, that's, the only thing I'm worried about is, I think the water bills have already gone out.
They
Yeah.
have for this month, or.
So we'd have to do it for August to select for the first weekend in October. So, yeah, we'll get on it, and we can make sure that it's in the next water bill for August. We have enough time for that,
Yeah, they'll go out the end of July.
end of July. So we got a couple weeks to get it done. So just so I'm tracking right, we got Junior Citizen of the Year, which we'll go solicit immediately, starting tomorrow. Then we have Employee of the Year and Firefighter of the Year.
Right,
Employee of the Year and Firefighter of the Year, we already have those applications.
right.
So, but you all need to make your selections,
We dropped it after that, I don't recall. ever.
because I think it's gonna require some sort,
We need to
Nick.
need to discuss it in an executive session.
Yes.
Okay. So
wherever you wanna pack that into, maybe one of, well,
one of two.
because you can't get in these next two, because we're not gonna have the water bills back.
Yeah.
So we'll just need to make sure that we have an executive session before Heritage of Flight to give enough time to notify the person, and then do whatever sort of presentation you guys want to do at the festival.
And all the applications that we have for the firefighter and the citizen, or
Employee.
employees, you might want to send those back out to us.
I've got,
They're in our
Because we talked about this a few months ago, and quite honestly, I think the ball did get dropped, because we had, it's not an excuse, but we had more pressing things to deal with. We had to find a city manager.
That was what happened.
And then we have other things that we had to deal with that took priority, so. But if we could get those sent back out to us, whoever has them, I probably have them, but I need a date when they were sent to find them. So, Mr. Mayor would like to know if anybody has anything else.
No.
And hearing none, 2, 3, 4, Mr. Mayor, move to adjourn.
Councilwoman Wright?
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston? Mayor Cook?
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove?
Yes.
Councilman Bond?
Yes.
Councilman Shan?
Yes.